I wonder, if I eat royal jelly every day, will I turn into a princess? Ben thinks. Someone must have been spreading slander about Ben M, for one morning he was arrested. His crime? The misfortune to have been born into the overweening comfort and blanketing blandness of the late 20th century. His punishment? The constant psychic throb that the urge for escape manifests in the spirit. I was born into a generation that viewed the horror of the first two world wars as faded newsreels, the lapsarian folly of another species. I was born into a generation that had been rocked to sleep every night by the gentle nudging of the institutions that helped our parents raise us. The school system, the NHS, family allowance and the TUC. They had been so deftly constructed, their foundations sunk so deep that even the machinations of the deregulators, the privatisationers and the small governmenteers couldn't topple what had been so powerfully wrought. That's the problem with comfort, though. This masochistic cult we call life abhors comfort. It combats comfort with boredom, and then apathy and derision swiftly follow. Then every comfort that progress has bequeathed us becomes disparaged and mocked. From Raymond Carver's excoriation of the suburbs to every sneering accusation of being middle class, in a few small decades we learn to despise comfort and fetishize deprivation, violence and war. It is out of this suffocating comfort that thoughts of escape are fermented. Most of us aren't Timothy McVeigh or Dylan Klebold. Most of us feel the chafing of the collar, but stop short of ripping off the top button and setting fire to the tie. We try, though. We hurl brushes soaked in scarlet and azure at that beige canvas. Some of us go to Machu Picchu, some join the sealed knot, and some pull plastic and cardboard out of a box, pull the cord on an invisible machine, and watch it go. That's the reason for hobbies. They are supposed to transport us out of the ordinary. They are there to make us feel like we haven't been spewed into a delivery room and then decanted into an air-conditioned cell for most of our lives before bedsores, incontinence and the loss of our meagre faculties kick in. Hobbies are meant to make us feel unique whilst being part of a group at the same time. They are not supposed to be normal, and that's why the theme of so many games scream escape. The movement of pieces on a board is, in its own minute way, an exercise of individual power. It is totalitarian and selfish. It benefits us, jolts us with a shot of serotonin, the reward for being completely self-focused. The progress of the human experiment has been down to the gradual stripping away of the power that can be bestowed on one person. Every tiny step forward has loosened the hold of the grasping monomaniac. We see the sense in the check of individual power, but we don't feel it. We know we need to be protected from the whims and proclamations of a solitary lunatic, but a little part of us wishes to be that lunatic, to sweep all before us. And some of us achieve this, except that usually all is a board covered in meeples. This is why the themes of games, despite weak and constant protestations, persist. They tap into our urge for both power and escape. We become mail-clad warriors or sharp-witted CEOs, fully caparisoned knights and spaceship captains. We don't want to see our lives reflected in our games. We've already been sentenced and we don't want to see the bars in our leisure time. I wonder if that will change, though. For the first time since my birth, the old certainties seem less certain. Those institutions with their deep-sunk foundations look like they could have been built on sand. If the themes of our games are about escape, it could be that, in the near future, we see games in which the exercise of violence is at the core as crass and offensive because we are personally confronted with violence on a regular basis. Will there come a time when the resistance is just too close to home to be played with breezy hilarity? I hope this is a blip. A fat-headed meander in the fast-flowing stream towards progress, that the political groin-grabbing will be replaced with the realization that all of this grandstanding results in the deaths of real people. The realization that most of us don't want to annex countries and flatten other civilizations, that most of the venal, kind, jealous, scheming, lying, charitable souls that inhabit this planet just want to carve out a little parcel of happiness before they die. I hope that Donald Trump becomes a joke and not the start of something, and I hope that the solidarity and health of our society is reflected by the desire to be Heracles or the galactic president of Glargon 4, because I know that if Accountancy the board game becomes the #1 on Board Game Geek, then the whole damn shebang is going up in flames around us.